Hello everybody, SlimKirby here, and the Jungle Jam is now over. Although I guess it's been over for like over 12 hours now, but this is the first chance I've had to actually start making this video, so for this video I thought I'd go ahead and, just talk about the Jungle Jam, how it went, some things that I really enjoyed, and some other things I kind of disliked about the event. I guess the first thing I'll do is just give a summary of like how it went and how it went on and stuff like that. So Jungle Jam started at 10 a.m. my time, so I got up like around 8 a.m. just to get prepared for it. Made sure I had everything ready. Made sure all my like Skype friends would have been up and ready to go. And then also like my mom cooked breakfast for me, which I thought was very nice, and she's a really good cook, so I had a nice time with that. So yeah, I did start at like 10 a.m. Started with Donkey Kong Country 1, and I think Donkey Kong Country 1 went pretty well. There were a few trouble spots, but especially when I was looking for some of the bonuses. But for the most part, though, I pretty much blew through the game because I knew where the majority of the things were. I'm no stranger when it comes to Donkey Kong Country, and I usually know where the majority of the bonuses are and how to get to them. So yeah, I did find everything in Donkey Kong Country 1, although I did find everything in every game, so it's not like this was the only exception or anything. I completed the game in 2 hours and 41 minutes, I think. I think it was that time. It was 2 hours and something. It was like still like very, very short of the worldwide speed run of the game, so it definitely wasn't the best score, but I think I did pretty well in the game considering that the bonuses are pretty difficult to find in that game. I think the score was 2 hours and 41 minutes. I don't know for sure though. That's the one game that I kind of forgot what the record was. And I also died a total of 42 times. One of the deaths, though, was a suicide because I didn't want to have 41 deaths. Although I guess you could look at it as if you don't count that, you still have 41 deaths. So didn't really succeed with that. Just had a pointless death that didn't really prove anything. My main trouble spot for that game was probably elevator antics because I had no idea where that second bonus level was. And yeah, I just had a lot of trouble getting that. But I did get it near the end of the game, so I did come back for it. I started Donkey Kong Country 2 at 1:10 p.m. I stopped Donkey Kong Country 1 at around like 12:30, and then like I went to go eat lunch during that time, and then yeah, I started Donkey Kong Country 2 at 1:10, and I think I did pretty good for Donkey Kong Country 2. I got through the game really, really quickly. Didn't really have much trouble with the bonuses or hero coins. The general trouble spots are usually those hero coins you would expect, like in Webwoods, that one hero coin that's at the very end of the level, and you only have like one shot to get it, and it's one of the end target items. So you have to have like really good timing to get that one. I was not surprised I did not get that. And then, yeah, I did pretty good through the Lost World. I didn't die at all during Animal Antics, which is considered the hardest stage in the game by a few people. Maybe not in the Game Boy Advance version, but definitely in the Super NES version. So I thought that was a pretty good accomplishment. My main trouble spot for that world was probably Fiery Furnace in the Lost World. I had a lot of deaths there, and like during that game, like I developed like a really big blister on my thumb because I have a very old Super NES controller, and the directional pad buttons, they are not very comfortable at all. So when you're like trying to hold down those buttons really hard, because that's another thing, my buttons weren't very responsive either. There were some parts where like I would push the button and like it would like barely move at all, so I had to like really push down. No big deal though. My thumb's okay now. It doesn't hurt as much, but it did yesterday when I was playing like for 13 hours. So yeah, I got through the game relatively quickly. I think my final game time was 3 hours and 31 minutes, which is like 2 hours shy of the speed run. That's generally how all my times were, like 2 hours shy of the speed run time, which I'm not really that surprised with because uh, a lot of people really go through that game and like really perfect themselves to get everything on their first try. But yeah, and I think I died a total of 28 times. A good portion of those deaths were from Fiery Furnace though, so I didn't really have that many deaths. I did pretty good considering. Uh, Around like 5:50, I started Donkey Kong Country 3 after another small break. Donkey Kong Country 3 could be defined as the easiest Donkey Kong Country game, but there are still like a lot of like I wouldn't say faults, but there are some tricky parts of the game where you could like easily rack up some deaths, and like there were a few moments of that during my playthrough. Um, Trouble spots for that game didn't really have any like major trouble spots. Usually, I think I did pretty well on a majority of the levels, and I don't think I died too many times on like one level. Like I died like a few times on like a select group of levels, and I don't really feel like going through that list. And there were just some stupid deaths that I had that I didn't really think I deserved really. Like there were some deaths where I just like I forgot to start and select to exit the stage, and then like I just kept like running and I randomly ran into an enemy. So if I like did start select, I probably could have avoided that. But for the most part, though, it wasn't a very hard game. I think it was definitely the game that had my most deaths because at the end I was really fatigued and I kept making stupid mistakes and dying at very inopportune times. So my final game time was 4 hours and 6 minutes, and then my time that was my time, and my deaths were 43, just one more than Donkey Kong Country 1. And so the stream ended around like 11:30. And I know what you're thinking. 550 plus 4 hours and 6 minutes is like only like 10 o'clock. But keep in mind that the game timer doesn't like count when you're moving around the map and stuff. And then I also had a break for dinner during that. So yeah, that's how that game went for the most part. And after that, I ended the stream. It was getting too late for me to do anything else. I had originally considered about doing Mario Party 4's Shy Guy's Jungle Jam to finish out the night, but when it was like 11 o'clock, I just kind of wanted to end the stream. I'd been streaming for like 13 hours, and I wanted to give it a little break.